Accidents and injuries. If you are involved in an accident, exposed to hazardous substances in the workplace, or sustain a work-related injury or illness, you are required to inform your on-site supervisor and staffing supervisor immediately. An investigation will be completed to find the root cause of the incident. Remedy will do everything in our power to get you released to modified duty to prevent you from having any interruption in your weekly paycheck. All Remedy employees are entitled to workers' compensation benefits as defined by the various state laws. However, Remedy takes fraud very seriously and will prosecute anyone who attempts to commit workers' compensation fraud. Our company's substance abuse policy requires post-accident drug testing if we reasonably believe that an employee's use of drugs and/or alcohol contributed to a work-related injury or accident. Proper lifting techniques. Using proper lifting techniques not only helps to prevent injury, but also benefits a worker's physical health. To lift properly, stand close to the object. Make sure you have firm footing. Squat down and straddle the load. Keep your back straight and bend your knees. Grasp the object firmly. Lift with your legs straight up and smoothly. Hold the object firmly and close to your body. Do not twist or turn your body once you have made the lift. Turn with your feet instead of twisting your back. Putting the load down properly is just as important. Keep your back straight. Squat down, bending at the knees. Set the load down and carefully release it. Emergency Action Plan. It is extremely important that you act quickly during emergencies and know how to report emergencies, where to exit and where to meet if there is an evacuation, safe areas on the site for other emergencies such as severe weather. You may also need to know how to use a fire extinguisher. You can use the pass technique. Pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, sweep from side to side. Powered industrial trucks or PITs. Examples of PITs are forklifts, reach trucks, powered pallet jacks, among others. You may not operate a PIT unless you have been properly trained and certified for that particular type of truck. You will only be assigned to operate a powered industrial truck for which you have been trained and certified. If you are asked to operate a different type of PIT, you must first receive additional training and a certification for that specific truck in that workplace. Contact your Remedy supervisor immediately. Hazard communication. OSHA's Hazard Communication Standard is based on a simple concept that you, the employee, have both a need and a right to know the hazards and identities of the chemicals you are exposed to when working. You also need to know what protective measures are available to prevent adverse effects from occurring. You can get some important information from the chemical label to guide you with things like proper storage, PPE usage and first aid procedures, among others. For example, the product identifier. Typically, this is the product name, either the word warning or danger, signaling the severity of the hazard, where danger is used for the most severe hazards and warning for the less severe. Precautionary statements describing recommended measures to minimize or prevent adverse effects resulting from exposure. Hazard statements providing the nature of the product's hazards. The name, address, and phone number of the manufacturer or supplier. And pictograms intended to visually convey specific physical and health hazard information. There are 9 pictograms you should be aware of and able to understand their meanings. Flame. This means it can catch on fire and to keep it away from heat, sparks, open flames, and hot surfaces. Flame over circle. This means it can cause or intensify fire because it's an oxidizer, so you want to store it away from combustible material. Exclamation mark. This means that the chemical is an irritant and that you may need or want PPE to avoid exposure. Exploding bomb. This means it can explode, so take precautionary measures when handling. Corrosion. This means it can destroy tissue, so you would want to use precautionary measures when storing and handling. Gas cylinder. This means the chemical is stored under pressure, so take precaution when storing. Health hazard. This means it can cause acute or chronic health effects, so you may need or want PPE. Skull and crossbones. This means that it is toxic, and so you may need PPE to avoid exposure. In addition, you may see this pictogram, which means the chemical can pose a hazard to the environment. Make sure that you read, understand, and abide by chemical labels on containers. If you cannot read or understand the label, contact your on-site supervisor. If you need more detailed information, you may need to check the Safety Data Sheet or SDS. Safety data sheets follow a 16-section format and contain important information such as product identification, hazard identification, composition and information on ingredients, first aid measures, firefighting measures, accidental release measures, handling and storage, exposure control and personal protection, physical and chemical properties, stability and reactivity, toxicological information, as well as other information. It is very important that all chemicals are properly labeled and are stored appropriately.